Hello everyone, welcome back to another live session of Root Hackers Lab. So in this live session, we are talking about the command injection vulnerability in web applications. So first, I share the link of this live session and then we will continue our live penetration testing series. I hope you all are doing great. Welcome to today's live session again. So in this live session, I will show you what is command injection, how attackers exploit it, and how it works in real world scenarios, and we will perform a live attack on DVWA, which is a vulnerable web application for beginners. And this course is highly practical and so beginners can understand easily. Okay, so let's start our live session. So first let's understand the concept. What is command injection? Command injection is a vulnerability where an attacker can execute system commands on the server through a web application. This happens when user input is not validated. The application directly sends user input into the operating system. Because of this issue and this vulnerability, attackers can run commands like whoami, id, ls, etc password, so many commands, which means they can control the server. So let's start. Before starting the attack, let me show you the environment. Today we are using the Kali Linux and DVWA vulnerable web application, which is here my metasploitable machine. I type its IP192, and here is our DVWA vulnerable web application. As you see here, and we can set the security level to low, so it's best for beginners to understand this vulnerability and this injection. So let's log in, and first I set the security level to medium. Here I set no medium, low, and submit. And here is the command execution vulnerability section. Here we have a simple input field. The application asks you to enter an IP address to ping in this checkbox, as you see here. So first I enter an IP of my metasploitable machine 192.168.88.128, and then submit. So first we analyze and check the application's behavior. Okay, so we submit this IP address in this parameter, and here is the result of this. But the problem is application does not sanitize the user input. So let's inject our malicious code. Now we will test if the input is vulnerable or not. So here let's try the command separator. Command separator is this colon. As you see here in my screen, this colon, I'll believe this here is the colon. It's also called command separator because of this. If you need to specify and if you want to specify two commands in one, so here ls, and then I type command separator and then pwd. So first it give me the directory list, and then pw it execute the pwd, and it's show me the current location of my user. So that's the work of command separator. So we will inject this command separator here, and I want to execute the ls command, directory listing. So let me submit here. So what is this? The application is vulnerable. The server will execute both this IP address and both this ls command with the help of separator. So let me submit this and then analyze the results. Okay, so if you see here at the last, here is the a lot of files, help, index.php and source, which means we can run extra commands on the server. So if you have any questions, so tell me in the live chat. The application is vulnerable. The server will execute both the IP and or command. So let's try another command. One 192 dot here, and then comma separator, and then I want to run the pwd command, and hit submit. So here is my current location of this web server, var www vulnerabilities xx. So let me access mm, the etc shadow files, etc. So first I am going to open the etc password file. Okay, so it's not giving me a valid result, so I can try again and again. ls command separator etc password. Okay, so it's giving me an error and not giving me a best results of this. So let me execute one more time and inject my command separator and then cat etc password. Okay, so as you see here, it's give me a lot of user on this machine like root, daemon, bin, sys, sign, games, main. Here is a lot of users and this machine, and a lot of information like the user directories and permissions of this website. So let's try more commands to explore the system, like 192 and my command separator, and then uname a, and hit enter. It's give me the exact version of this machine. So as you see here, this vulnerability is more and more critical in these scenarios. In real attacks, hackers don't stop here. They can upload backdoors, reverse shell, escalate their privileges, take full control of the server. We can test and we can inject the backdoor. So here is a simple website, reverse shell generators. So we can copy these backdoors and paste here it in this parameter along with our IP address. So I can inject the PHP code. So as a simple PHP code here, I can inject this PHP code, and first I set up my listener. It listens the connections uh, here, and then I copy this backdoor and reverse shell, and here is my command, is my IP, and then our separator, and then we can inject the code, I mean the backdoor, and hit submit. So let's open my terminal. Here as you see here, it's give me a reverse shell of this website pwd. It's giving me a current working directory of this website ls. So it's give me a lot of folders present in this directory. So I want to open the root directory and then ls. Okay, the session is terminated, so I can do it one more time. Here is the command separator and the payload, hit enter, and then you have a stable, and then you get a stable reverse shell of this website. So that's why this vulnerability is more critical. This could give them remote shell access. This vulnerability happens because developers do not validate user input, directory pass user input to system commands, do not filter special characters like and, colon, etc. Let me clear my terminal and set up my security level to medium and test this application in medium security. If you have any questions, so please tell me in the live chat. Okay, so let me test the this is medium security level. So I want to inject my code, command separator and ls. Hit me ls. It's taking a time. Okay, so it's terminated and not giving me a valid results. So let me check another command and another symbol. I can replace this colon with the pipe symbol like this, and here we can bypass the medium security level. Hit, let me submit these results, and here it give me a name of this machine and the version of this. So let me execute one more time, and in this time I want to execute the ls command to list directories on this web application. So here as you see here, it's give me a three directories: help, index.php and source. So it is vulnerable in medium security because I replace the colon with the pipeline symbol. So let me inject the backdoor. I copy this backdoor. I explain this in my notepad. This is the netcat's simple backdoor which runs on this vulnerable web application, and then we get a reverse shell in our terminal. So what is our port in this scenario? So our port is 123. So we can replace the 8080 with 123 4, and then copy this payload and here, and then go to our terminal or Firefox and inject here. So here is injected already, and uh, submit here. Oh, so it is terminated. So let me bypass the security. It's terminated, and I replace the colon with the pipeline symbol and hit enter. As you see here, we get a reversal of this in medium security level. If you are facing any problems, so tell me in the live chat. I will definitely reply you and solve your problem. So here is the simple reversal we got, and here is the vulnerability. Developers can prevent this vulnerability by how to prevent command injection. This is a question. Developers can prevent this vulnerability by input validation using a low list instead of blacklists, allowed executing system commands directly, avoid executing system commands directly using secure APIs instead of shell commands, sanitizing user input. Security testing is also very important to prevent this type of vulnerabilities. So let me explain this vulnerability with the help of simple PDF. Command injection, what is it? Command injection is a vulnerability that occurs when an application passes unsanitized user input to the system shell. Attackers can inject additional commands that are executed by the server, potentially leading to full system compromise. How it works: the application executes system commands using user supplied input, and attacker shell operators like colon, and pipelines or backticks. The server executes both the intended command and the attacker commands. This may allow attacker to read files, run programs, or gain system access. Common payloads. Here is the common payloads. We use this on this vulnerable web application. I see where you understand this prevention. How to prevent these vulnerabilities? To prevent these vulnerabilities, avoid executing system commands with user input. Use safe APIs, built-in language functions instead of shell commands. Validate and sanitize all user inputs. Apply the principle of least privilege to system processes. Use web application firewalls and security monitoring for educational and authorized security testing only. So if you learn something from this live session, like this session and live share your feedback and subscribe our channel. In the next session, we may explore vulnerabilities like SQL injection, file upload, XSS, and so more. So if you have any questions, so tell me in the live chat. That's it for today's live session. Today we learn what is command injection, how attackers exploit it, and uh, practical demonstration on DVWA, how developers can prevent it. If you found this session helpful, so please subscribe, like, and share your feedback in the comments. So bye, bye, and stay ethical.